Hello, welcome to the House of the Spirits. Welcome home. This reading today is going to be an open reading. So let's go with the flow and see what's in store for today. For pile number 1, we have Aquarius, Gemini, Aries, and Virgo. Your card is Garlic. For the second pile, we have Cancer, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. Your card is Heather. For the third pile, we have Pisces, Leo, Taurus, and Libra. Your card is Bramble. Okay, I will give you a moment for you to choose your pile using the card, the zodiac signs, or just your intuition. I will see you in your reading. Pile number 1, you have Garlic. And garlic is about the exotic. It's also about purification, of course. Garlic is a powerful natural antibiotic. It's kind of an all-purpose healing plant. So it's really important in a lot of cultures and also in food. So this is also about trying something new. It's about adding something to your life so that it can purify and change your life for the better. And I was immediately drawn to this part of the card here, this wall. I don't know, maybe there's something about protection or just leaning on to something or someone, something that is supportive, protective. And also aids in cleansing somehow. Okay. Let's see what this reading is about. I want to get you an Owen. Okay. So we have... I'm sorry, this is Nguyen. Yes, Nguyen. And it is about the connection between worlds, especially macrocosm and microcosm. So the inner world, the outer world. The cosmic, the divine sphere, and the personal sphere. Maybe there's something between those two worlds, like a wall, but it feels like it's something protective. It doesn't feel like it's an enclosure or that it's keeping you from this connection or keeping this connection from happening between the outer world, the wider world, and the small, the tiny, even like the mundane and the divine. Okay, so let's see what this reading is about. For pile number 1, this is an open reading, so I just have to figure out what are we talking about first. Okay, I'll get this. The green woman. The fairy godmother. It's always so delightful to find her in a reading. So this is the protection I was talking about. It's a very, very beautiful energy. And the singer of the chalice. Wow. There's a lot of creative energy that I feel like has to be protected. Even the green woman has, her hands are like shielding and protecting something, which is a bit funny. So maybe this is about, there's something about children, there's something about protecting a child, maybe even the inner child, the innocence and the purity and the love, the silliness also, playfulness. So there's a wall protecting something so that it can play, so that it or he or she, maybe this is a project, it can be something creative, because Singer of the Chalice is a lot about creative endeavors, but also new life. So pregnancy, the protection that is given by nature itself, by God to the child, when that new life is in the womb and is all that is happening. There's something about that here, the macrocosm and the microcosm, and also this wall or membrane that is between those two worlds. Success, oh, strange. That was interesting. Okay, success in love and high honors. This is beautiful celebration, maybe. But you know, here I also see these two aspects of life. So this intimacy and also the public life and what happens like officially. This reading is about what is between those two worlds. The power that is operating between these two worlds. And you know, also garlic is also a great stimulant for the immune system, which is exactly that. It's that membrane between the intimate, the inner, and the outer. So maybe you have to protect something that is precious to you right now, or this reading is going to clarify something about that, like how you can protect, or what the energy of that might feel like, and how to expand it, how to nurture that protection also, so how to relate to it, how to make better use of it. Okay, so what else? A lot of cards, but maybe each reading is going to be very different today. So Mars in Libra with choice, Sun in Aquarius with idealism, Venus in Pisces with submission, Jupiter in Virgo with patience, Jupiter in Leo with publicity, Moon in Libra with companionship, and finally we have Mars in Sagittarius with domination. Okay. So to me, this sounds like preparation for something. It can be birth, it can be a celebration, it can be some sort of ritual or a coming of age part of your story, a maturity, like a ritual or an event that symbolizes some sort of maturity. It can be an idea that you're going to put into practice. But first you have to protect it from the outside. because it does feel like you, if you do that, you're going to receive a lot of beautiful, loving energy from the divine. So it's like retreating and going into the inside is going to also open up the channels for something wider, for something bigger. That's also going to nurture you and then manifest or materialize into something that might be like an event, a presentation. This can also be like your first day of college, your first day at your new job. It's like that idea, that concept is kind of in this incubation phase. But it's really important that you focus on the preciousness of it, that you thoroughly enjoy it, like the whole process of nurturing this idea. I feel like there's also this message of connecting to those deep desires, the things that you really enjoy doing and that bring up the best in you, the creative side of you, and the enjoyment of that energy is really important, that you protect that from the outside at this moment, so that later on you get to present it to the public with a lot of confidence, and maybe to also be able to withstand the outside energies that are going to influence, not influence, but interact. Because it does feel like after a period of retreat, you do have to work on the outside a lot. So that will require a bit of preparation on your part, especially emotionally. Like you have to protect your energy, protect your vibe, let's say, so that when you are out in public presenting what you want to present, or when you have that interview, when you finally get to show your project, when you get to perform, I don't know, whatever it is, because it's going to be very, very special. Feels like you're protecting something very special, and you're also creating something that's very, very precious to you, very special. 10 of Pentacles. Wow. Judgment. 4 of Cups. This one is also wanting to come out. And the Knight of Cups. 7 of Cups. And Justice. Okay. So there's something here about being afraid of judgment, or of not wanting to deal with that, of wanting to like go with the flow and not really have a lot of strings attached to this. Okay, so it might feel like those strings are just other people's opinions and ideas. And so for now, it's really better for you to be like unseen. But that's not what's going, that's not the final objective of this. It feels like this is something that has to go public. It has to go to a wider audience. But there's some preparation, and this reading is telling you that you should think about it when you can, because it is going to be as you want it to be, like very heartfelt and spontaneous. But it's also important that you consider what might happen, so that when you present this and when it comes out into the world, so that you understand how it can affect people, how it can touch people even. Because it does feel like you might miss some opportunities if you don't realize the consequences of this. Because actually they seem like they're very good. And your intention seems very pure, and really it's something that's going to make a really positive impact. But it's also going to kind of shake someone else's foundations. Because it seems like it's such a powerful energy. It seems like something spiritual has touched it, and you don't want it to go away. But at the same time, if you show it to the world like that, it's inevitable that it's going to create some sort of resistance on others, because it does seem like it requires a great spiritual power, or a great purification, let's say, because you also have the garlic. It's a very specific energy, garlic. I'm sure most of you have consumed garlic, and you can tell that it's unmistakable. It has this its own character. It's so strong, it's so pungent, and everyone knows that you have consumed it also afterwards, because you just smell like garlic. Garlic is also used to scare away like vampires or bad spirits, and actually garlic is a great deterrent for pests. So if you have a garden or a vegetable garden, you know that a lot of the pests, they don't touch the garlic, because it's so strong, and it has a lot of chemicals that they don't like. And that's also why it's a powerful antibiotic and almost like disinfectant, really. So this kind of character that I just described with the garlic is a bit like the spiritual energy with which you are getting into contact with. And it's like it has its own it has its own a lot of things. Well, it has its own like karmic um it has its own way of entanglement with other people's lives, and it really, it can be very, very pungent. It can be very hard to digest also. So maybe you're having some sort of realization of truth that is hard for other people to digest, and once you get it out into the public, it does, create a lot of resistance, or at least different ideas and arguments even, and you might get a bit like a mixed reception. But at the same time, it's going to be kind of like unmistakable. And I also feel like you'll find people who want to celebrate it, but you'll also find people who want to move away from it. Nine of Wands, the Star, and the Eight of Cups. The King of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and the Emperor. Okay, so I guess that you're going to have to assert strong boundaries. So once this spiritual truth gets out there and you are also able to represent it or to embody it or to talk about it, or you are the one who actually says it, it's something public. It's something that is shared in a way because it seems like it's something public. So it seems like it's something that is recognized by an audience, a group of people. Sorry for the focus. Okay. So it's recognized. Okay. It's like official. And there will be this beautiful harmony between your intimate connection to spirit, to the divine, and to some spiritual truth, and the outside, how the outside views this, how the public in general views this, what is like the common sense, the common idea about what you sense in your heart and in your intimate connection to the divine. It seems like everything is going to get easier once you are able to kind of assert this publicly. Once you are viewed in a certain light. And it feels like it's not a, it's like you're not rushing in with this. You're being very moderate, patient. You are choosing, you have discernment. There's a lot of studying and precise tweaking of your ideas. It feels like it's like you're standing on a lot. You have a lot to back this. This is not something that you just, came up with just now. And it feels like it's something that has guided your steps all along, even in the times when you thought you were lost and that you didn't really know where to go. What is the direction? I just know that I have to keep walking. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm just going to keep walking. And suddenly there's going to be this connection, this moment of understanding, like, okay, now I know what to do about this, because something exterior to you also clicks. So something in the collective also clicks. And it feels like there's going to be this chain reaction, like people working in close connection. They're going to create this chain of events, this chain of energy that's going to allow you to also see justice in this case. You have justice and the Judgment card. So there might be some people who are going to judge you for this and who are also going to be fighting this. But it doesn't really affect you because it feels like you're in a state of flow right now. And it's like reality and nature and all the phenomena around you, all the events and all the people are gathering around something, and you're going to be a part of it. It's like a movement. There's a sort of movement, and it's really, really powerful because it's this connection between the personal sphere and the wider public sphere, and also the divine sphere. So the way people understand their connection to their own spirituality. So it does feel like there's there's this connection that's going to happen, that's going to affect you, that's going to feel like being protected. It's going to feel like you have also people to talk to. You're going to have people to confide in. And it seems like there's a lot of, there's bonding, even social bonding and spiritual bonding that happens because of this, um, like supportive, people want to support each other. There's a lot of generosity and even like charity. So the way people see each other with understanding and patience. And Singer of the Chalice is also about unconditional love and the giving and receiving of love. It's a beautiful reading. It seems like there's this, you're going to find this like brotherhood, sisterhood that is going to feel really strong and joyful. And it's going to clear away a lot of confusion, especially in your public sphere or in your social sphere. It's something that's absolutely guided by spirit. You have the star also in judgment. It's something that has blessed your life for forever, even in the moments when you didn't really feel like you were supported. But it was something that was there. But I feel like you're going to have to be very assertive about this. So you're going to have to be protective also of this, because it's also an intimate relationship, or an intimate connection to the divine. So that there is this kind of private, what I'm seeing is like private moments of meditation, of connection. It's also about something they really love doing. So you're studying it, you're understanding this subject, you're engaging with it, and it connects you with a group of people also. So there's going to be a moment when you're going to kind of show something to the world. And you have to be quite assertive about this, because that's also a way of achieving balance, especially with people who are confused or who don't want you to see something. It's like they don't want you to see something. Maybe it's something like a fault that they have, or the many faults we all have. But if people are not accepting their own faults, it's really difficult to evolve, right? It's if we don't want to see those darker spots about ourselves, even if we keep having that same consciousness about them, like, okay, they're there, and sometimes I can't really do something about them immediately, and I have to live with that idea. It's really hard for some people to constantly live with that, maybe shame or guilt or feeling of awkwardness. Or if you're a perfectionist, it can be very taxing, because you're constantly focusing on that subject and you want to solve it as quickly as possible. But I do feel like tolerance, sweetness, kindness, love, just unconditional love, patience, and knowing that accepting faults is not, it doesn't, you don't have to lower your expectations to accept your faults or other people's faults. It's like you enter in a different, it's a different wavelength. because it does seem like this reading is also about relationships in a way, because it's like a moment that opens a lot of possibilities of relationships with the outside world also. It's a very personal reading, spiritual reading, okay? So this is why I'm not getting into a lot of detail, because it seems like it's more of a, it has to do with the way you perceive certain exchanges with other people and how love flows in those relationships, specific relationships maybe for you, if this resonates. Maybe you have a relationship in mind, or this is just your own way of relating, way of bonding, the relating function of your life, maybe. Because it will affect personal relationships, intimate relationships, but also your relationship with the divine and with the public, the wider audience, the public sphere. If you have a public persona, you have publicity here. It does feel like there's this wider circle that's going to be very important from now on in your life. And it's really about you also kind of perfecting the relationship with that. It is a lot about acceptance and tolerance, and also creativity. It's like the creative side of love. So a love that is more transpersonal, and how you see that in relationship with your experience of intimate love also. Because that's also the theme of this reading, is the macrocosm and the microcosm, and that wall that's in between these two, the immune system, how it works. What does it let in, and what does it put out, and what does it destroy? What does it select as good? How this is a purification process. So it's very spiritual, it's emotional and psychological. So that's why I'm not going to get into any details for today. So it's very open. So it was an open reading. So I guess I'm going to respect that, the theme that came out. Okay, thank you so much for this. If you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm also available for personal readings at the moment. You can find my email in the description box below. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye. Pile number 2, your card is Heather. And heather is one of my favorite plants. Also because of the taste that it gives to honey. I really love heather flavored honey. And you also have the bees here. And heather is about community. It's also about good luck, because heather is like clover, also considered a lucky plant. And heather to me is very special because it grows in a very special place to me, that I used to go and see the landscape, and it's so unreal and beautiful there that I used to say that if God was on earth and he came to earth and stepped on land, I felt like that was the first place that his footprint landed, because it's just the most beautiful place, and it brings me a lot of memories. There's something very special about this, and I don't know why I share this, but maybe there's some sort of connection, like a very special place that might be very important for you at the moment. And it might also be a place where you feel connected to other people, like specifically a special community, because this card is also about the communities around you, and also celebration. So celebrating the good things in life, the lucky things, the blessed things, and yeah, considering the collaborations and the relationships with specific communities that are very meaningful for you right now, and also being grateful for the good things in life, focusing on the positive things of life. Beautiful. Okay. So you have, this is court. And sorry. Yep. So it is about the search for the self. So it's like this spiral movement that happens inside of yourself that is about going to, like, meeting your inner self. That's so interesting. So once again, I'm focusing on that special place, like a special place where you connect with the community and also the nature of the place, the landscape. Okay. Let's see. What is this reading about for you? Okay. And yeah. So, oh, sorry. Okay, we'll start with these. Singer of Transfiguration. Il the Retriever. Topsy Turvets. Okay. Then you have Smoke, Purification, Union, Community, and Protection. Loss, Trial and Error, Origins. Loss, Trial and Error, Warrior Spirit, and Survival. Songs, Synesthesia, Spirits, Communion, Modulation, Communion and Community. And Perfume, Instinct, Camouflage, Sublime, Liberation. Okay. Let's see what else comes up for pile number 2. Okay. Feels to me like this is a place that saw different versions of you. It's like this place saw you transform. It saw you grow, possibly. Maybe you go back there once in a while. Or maybe it's something that's growing in a specific place. You have the Sun in Pisces with vision. Moon in Scorpio with power. Jupiter in Taurus with status. Okay, this is a bit crooked today. Okay. And then we have the Moon in Gemini with adaptability. And the Moon in Pisces with empathy. That's a lot of Moon energy. So it seems like you're going back to a place that has seen you grow, or where something is growing that is important to you, and it's like you're getting something back, or it's like you're seeing differently. Maybe you go back and you're seeing differently because you changed so much. You went through a transformation. But this reading, it's really intriguing to me because I can't really understand like what the theme is really. It's more like there's a certain feeling at the moment, and I want to get some more cards so that I understand the direction. So I get the feeling. I get the feeling of going back to a place, or of a very meaningful place. I know, like for me, where that place might be, but for you, you have to think maybe what this place could be. Maybe there's also a specific group of people that is associated with that place, and that's the most important thing, because you have a lot of community cards or group cards. Okay, so you have the Seven of Cups, the Five of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. You have the Nine of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. Okay. Sorry about the focus today. King of Swords. Five of Pentacles. I just saw these creatures here. I never noticed them. Look at those. They're so funny. Can I focus today? Sorry. Okay. Can you see those little fairies? They're so sweet looking. Maybe they're the topsy-turvids here. Okay. Knight of Cups. Okay, these two came out together. Eight of Cups and Judgment. Ace of Wands. Maybe one more. The Knight of Wands. Oh. So, I guess that you are the one going through a transformation, a metamorphosis. It's going to be a powerful change in your life also on the outside, because something is going to be affected by this transformation. To me, it seems like it's going to be very obvious, like the difference is going to be very obvious. Maybe other people are going to see it right away. They're going to understand what happened right away, or even if they don't understand, they're going to just be affected by it instantly. It's a very big change. It's a big change. It can even mean like a complete departure from certain situations. I see even like a group of situations, like you're moving away, completely away from a certain situation and towards another one. And it's interesting that what I see here is that although you will feel like you're still in the middle of this transformation, other people will not see it that way. Sorry, the focus today is really not helping. Okay. So I feel like this reading is reassuring you that the transformation is total, is complete. So don't think that you're still stuck in the past or that you're going back to something that you don't want. It feels very empowering. It feels like it's like what I'm hearing is don't worry, because what made you weak and defeated or sad or melancholic, depressed, anxious before is not going to affect you anymore, because there's such a big transformation that even if different things are going to affect you, different ideas are going to come to you and maybe trigger some, feelings of anxiety or sadness, they're going to be completely different from what they were in the past, because your life is changing so much. And I feel like this reading is saying, own it, own that, celebrate that, celebrate the positivity of that, because the past, the energy of the past is going to be cleared. Now I need to understand, what is this about? Because there is something that contradicts this. That's the retriever. It's going into the past, getting something. Huh. So it is a process of transfiguration, transmutation, transformation, metamorphosis. But it's also going to hide something. Like you're going to rediscover something in your life because of this. And it's going to feel like a liberating energy. So for instance, when you see something that truly moves you, it's really inspiring. So now I understand why I was describing that landscape in the beginning of the reading, because of the heather. Now I understand, because a lot of the times when I was there in that place, or when I looked at it from a distance, I cried, because I thought, this is so beautiful. I just want to have this like etched in my memory forever. And it feels like you're getting that back, that feeling like I want this to be forever, to last forever in my memory. And when I said that, it was like my brain just took a snapshot of that, and it sticks with me. Whenever I'm feeling down, I think of that place, or whenever I go to a place that I really don't enjoy and that I feel like the environment is very hostile to my vibe, my energy, I just think of that place in that moment, and I am reassured like those places exist. Even though right now I'm here, it doesn't mean that it's going to last forever, and that it's going to be my, state of mind, and my emotional universe, like the whole universe, because I know, I am sure, because I have seen it with my own eyes and experienced it. It's in my cells. I know that places where the divine and spirit really shine through, they exist, and I connect with them, and even the memory energizes me. So there's something about that too that's really liberating. So it makes you cry. Maybe you have some sort of experience that unleashes something in you that makes you cry, but it feels like it's a positive cry because it's liberating. It's not sad. There's no sadness and weight here. It's just liberating. And but there is, it's not a danger, but there is I wouldn't say risk. This is too heavy. Like the words are too heavy. There's the possibility of you being a bit stuck in between worlds, in between these two states. And I feel like this reading is telling you that you shouldn't worry because you're not stuck anymore. The past is gone. Something is changing completely for you. And it's something that other people will see. Maybe they will also see it before you realize that it's done. And it's so glaring for other people, but maybe you are still kind of not very confident about it, but you should be. You should be very, very confident because it's never going back to what it was before. This is a complete transformation. So now I understand the topsy-turvy. It's like seeing something upside down, but in your case, in this case, it's seeing the correct side up. Maybe in a way, and I don't mean any disrespect, in a way you might be more lucky than you realize, and more blessed, and more I guess that you're underestimating the positivity of this transformation. That is what I am seeing here. There's also another thing that's really important here that might help you access the true power of this transformation, and that is certain acts of self-care, meditation, maybe writing, trying to see and trying to portray your situation in a good light, because you have to focus on the positives, okay? This is all about focusing on the positive, and that will unleash something in you that's really moving you, that's moving in an emotional sense, and also moving you towards what you want, driving you forward. With the Ace of Wands here and the Judgment and King of Wands, this is really to me about definitely stepping away from things that you don't want. Eight of Cups, okay? So you're making a judgment, you're making a decision, very stark, very well defined. And although you might be like, okay, this might take time, this might be slow, this might be, I have to be careful because maybe I don't really see how it is materializing, this transformation. But be sure that other people are already seeing that transformation, and they access it, they access that energy, and you're also going to access it if you have these rituals of meditation and self-care, that it will allow you to channel that. It will allow you to understand the clear difference between the negativity that comes from the past and what you want and what drives you forward, what animates you, the passions and the inspiration, where that inspiration comes from. So when I was speaking about that landscape, what could inspire you more? It's like the seeing the divine in the beauty of nature. So there's something incredibly liberating there. There's an emotional liberation there. And it's like your life is 180 degrees, taking a 180 degrees shift, turn. I also see something about going from survival mode into a very flowy way of flowy. It's like even the way you move is going to change. There's something in your body that's going to be like well oiled. There's more movement. So there's going from this very tense survival mode into a very flowy state. Also allowing yourself to be inspired and moved, to be more emotional. But it also, you might lose connection to something because of this. It is a spirit, a kind of, or thought forms. I feel like there are specific thought forms, and you're losing connection to those. And those thought forms were actually attracting a lot of conflict in your life. Arguments, ego stuff, like conversations where the ego was triggered, like yours and other people's ego. So it feels like it's also going to change. It's going to affect your relationships in a very positive way. And it doesn't mean like that all your problems will suddenly completely disappear. It's just your approach to them and the way you combat negativity in your life. It's much more proactive. It's much more engaged and present. Some people might not enjoy this because this might also affect them in the more ego, in the parts of the ego, okay, that need to be taken care of. But that's okay because if you flow, if you're flowy and if you're gentle, like I see like a leaf in the wind, it's like it's okay, everything's okay. So it feels like other people might not be able to transform themselves in this way, but it's okay because you still connect with them and you're still fine. Everything is fine. And you're still doing that spiritual work and emotional work. You're still at it. Nothing is ever perfect. But it feels to me like things are much more perfect than you realize. You're much more lucky than you realize. And it's time to enjoy that. Because there's this treasure inside yourself that you need to enjoy and respect and discover, maybe even rediscover. And it's about that feeling of being moved by beautiful things, of being moved by the divine in the world, of being moved by other people's words, other people's work also, like seeing a beautiful work of art and being moved, seeing a beautiful landscape and being moved. There's something about that beauty that getting something back from that. Maybe a sense of enjoyment that comes from that connection of seeing the divine in something. Very, very. So yeah, this reading, to me, the function of it is really to make you understand that you have a wealth of luck and gratitude and blessings waiting for you. And you have to make a very clear decision to leave some things behind. Other people already see that happening, okay? So they're sensing something changing. Something is clearly changed in you. And you just have to take more care of yourself. Have moments of reflection and meditation that help you remove negativity, because it seems like there's a lot of beauty that needs to be accessed right now. It will really stoke the fire of creativity if you do this, and it's so positive. It's about luck also, okay? So it seems like you're also going to be more lucky, have more like fortuitous, serendipitous events that are going to open doors for you, because you can see the divine. You're moved by the divine. You're inspired by the divine. And this transformation is ongoing, but is already seen by a lot of people. So don't worry. This is reassurance that it's not going back. You're not going to have to endure and survive, okay? Specifically certain thought forms that weren't really yours to begin with, probably. Okay, thank you so much for this. If you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm also available for personal readings at the moment. You can find my email in the description box below. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye. Pile number 3. Your card is the Bramble. And the Bramble can be about a prickly situation, but it can also mean that you're in a phase that you're facing someone who is very strong-willed and difficult to deal with, so very stubborn, or you are needing to channel that tenacity that is very characteristic of the Bramble. And the Bramble also has an oem here, and this oem is about prophetic insight, which is also interesting here. And so this is about being difficult to defeat, and there's some sort of like transcendental power here also. So it's like a power that overcomes, that transcends, but there's also strong boundaries and strong stubborn energy. It's quite a specific type of power that the Bramble channels or embodies. Okay. Let's start with some cards. Okay. So what is this reading about for pile? Okay. Pile number 3. Let's get you an own first. Interesting. So this is Axis. It's about sweetness, pleasure, and intelligence. Okay. We have bereavement. And good lady. The good lady also has some berries and some kind of prickly leaved plant here. So there's something about the good lady that's really connected to the bramble. So maybe this is a person in your life. We have Solus, Thurar, Tabara of the Waters. Sorry about that. Okay. And the feline. Seems like you're dealing with people or a person who is a bit difficult. Maybe they surprised you. Maybe you thought they were different. They did something that wasn't really. It seems like they did something like out of context. Did they do something out of context? Maybe this is in the past, okay? So because bramble to me also has something to do with the time, like a long stretch of time, very long prophecies. That's why I have this. Maybe this is the focus here, the prophecy. I guess that this person told you something, and maybe at the time you didn't really understand it, or maybe you clashed with this person. There was something quite ungrounded. Maybe it was an accusation. Maybe they did something that felt like it was offensive. But it feels like there's a healing process going on, maybe. And that now you see like different characteristics about this person that you respect more, like you see the light in their spirit than the honesty. Maybe they were being truthful. There was some kind of truth in that situation. Mars in Gemini with decision. Sun in Gemini with versatility. Mercury in Pisces with inspiration. Mercury in Virgo with caution. And Venus in Libra with indecision. Okay, it seems to me like this relationship is healing, but it will take a little bit of time. I don't see something like happening, like a gathering or a connection happening right now, but I do see that there's healing happening and that maybe you will reconnect later on. It doesn't seem like your connection was by chance, like it was something that, okay, 9 of Stones or Pentacles with tradition. Maybe it goes really deep. Is this a family member or someone who is very close to you for a long time? Maybe even an ancestor or a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin. It can be close and it can be distant, but it's someone who had this impact. They made a certain impression on you, and it feels like you decided to part ways or to not engage anymore. So you decided to split. But now there's, from each side of the situation, there is a possibility of healing this. Because it's like there's this feeling of, okay, so yeah, maybe this person wasn't really bad. They weren't trying to hurt me. They were being truthful. But at the time, it hurt. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't a pleasant interaction. It was a prickly situation. The world, and these two, the Green Woman and Five of Cups. Yes. So this relationship, it seems to me that it has, maybe it still has a lot of potential. It had a lot of potential. So it felt like a loss at the time, like things could be so perfect, they could be this way. There were a lot of maybe expectations on both parts, but it wasn't the right time. It wasn't, there was something between these two people that had to be healed. Seven of Swords or arrows with insecurity. And 10 of arrows with instruction. So it feels to me like there was a lesson to be learned. And this was maybe a very hard lesson. Very hard, because it felt like what could be was very, very powerful. Although it was an ungrounded energy, you have the Ra here. But it's very raw and it's very powerful. It's really uncontrollable and uncontrolled energy. There wasn't a very wise way of putting it on the ground at that time, because both of you had to heal before you start over. And it seems like you have to be very careful with your words around this person, because it's a prickly person, it's a prickly situation, and maybe it's very easy for you to hurt the other person and also the other way around. Knight of Bows or Wands with Fox. Ace of Wands, Spark of Life. And the Stag. 10 of Cups with Happiness. Queen of Arrows or Swords with Swan. 6 of Cups with Reunion. Maybe one more. 9 of Arrows with Dedication. Okay, so it seems to me like you're going to meet this person maybe. Again, you're going to meet this person. But I don't feel like it's going to be It's going to be beautiful in a way. It's going to be deep, but there's this ambiguity that I see here. And it's like, so there's two options here. Either one person has a very emotional approach and the other person is very distanced and emotionally detached, and it's hurtful, you know? Although you might enjoy each other's existence, let's say, the company isn't that pleasant. So you're happy that you're you don't wish any harm to each other, but being around each other might be a bit hurtful still. So there's still a lot of healing that needs to happen. And I feel like that healing will require a bit of love and care and attention. But it is possible. I do feel like there's a lot of potential in this relationship, specifically for healing. Maybe it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be what you expected, but you're going to learn a lot from it. You're going to grow because there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of energy here. So it's a kind of a bond. I would say it's more spiritual in nature, like a soul bond than like an emotional bond per se, or like, you know, like a friend. Or it's very difficult to see this person as such, like a friend that you can call, that you can shoulder to lean on, let's say. It doesn't feel that way, but at the same time it seems like it's quite inspiring in a way. The relationship itself is quite inspiring because it's very transformative. It has a lot of raw energy that can be turned into spiritual energy, spiritual transformation. And wisdom. I would say that the most important takeaway from this is the wisdom, because this person also has a lot of wisdom. And maybe even just a relationship has a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of creative energy there. And although it might not flow in the way that you thought it would, it will still be useful and you can still harness it if you want to. But I would say that if I were you, I would address this only when I was feeling strong and confident, because if you're not, everything that's about like judgmental energy, criticism, the words, everything might be, too much. So it's very important that you feel strong if you're dealing with this energy. So you have boundaries, like I deal with this when I'm ready. I don't have to give in to the other person's demands, let's say. I have my rules. I have my way also of doing things. And if I respect those rules and I respect those boundaries, I'm able to use this to my own growth, to my personal advantage, because you're not supposed to be suffering. It feels to me like this is about using this energy with intelligence and wisdom for your benefit. And that doesn't mean that the other person is going to suffer, okay? It just means that you respect yourself, and that you take care of your own energy, and that you're fair to other people, but also to yourself. And also, not rushing too much, not rushing. Things take time. There's a portion of this that is out of both of you, out of both of your control. So neither of these energies involved here are really in control of the situation, and they shouldn't. That's fine. But because of that, it seems like it's a kind of a wild thing. So maybe that there's this nervousness, like, oh, I'm going to meet this person and they're so annoying, or they get annoyed really easily and they just burst and they have this like fits or something like that. So I have to be careful with my words, and there's something about that. And I don't know, usually people say that you shouldn't really be around people like that because it's too demanding, it's too taxing, and you'll end up sick or you'll end up like hurting yourself. But I don't know, there's something fun here also. And it's more like in the long run, it's important that you keep this relationship. And of course, it has to be someone that you know has something that you care about. And maybe you even care about the person, but you just can't really tolerate their ways and the quirks and the really, maybe annoying, if it's annoying and triggering for you. So that's fine. But there are so many types of relationships, and there are so many types of bonds and of ties, soul ties that we have. So sometimes wisdom comes from very strange relationships and very strange places. And it feels to me like this is kind of bizarre, okay? This is a bit bizarre, but it has a certain use that I can't really understand what it is. Maybe you will understand if this is resonating. And if this is so, understand that it's kind of meant to be this way. You don't really need to change it much. You just need to understand how to work with this energy, and also to enjoy its fruits, because the bramble is very prickly. It's very hard to get rid of. The roots go so deep that you cut the roots and you try to take them out, and somehow they find a way to grow again. So the bramble, once it takes hold of the landscape, it's really hard to take them out. And they're prickly, you just bleed all over if you try to touch it too much. But then suddenly, when the season is right, you get these really sweet berries and this beautiful just abundance that comes. So it's a bit like that. This relationship is a bit like that. So you get prickled and you get, bloody and cut, but sometimes you get this really beautiful fruit. And that's all it takes. That's all that you want. So I don't know, this is really strange. It's a very strange reading, because it feels like maybe this person is also strange. Like you can't really put a finger on what you feel about this person. It's annoying, it's strange, but at the same time, it's okay. And then you have this curiosity. There's wisdom there. You learn a lot. It's challenging, but it's really abundant in its own strange way. Wow. Very strange reading. Very strange person. Very strange relationship. But try to enjoy the goodness that comes from it. That is what this reading is about. Okay. Thank you so much for this. If you also enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm also available for personal readings at the moment. You can find my email in the description box below. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye.